Good morning. Today we're going to be looking at the new Rosters and Rivals plugin package. It is a huge expansion over the old Teams plugin that would show you the team roster of the driver that you were selected. This gives you a ton more options. So we're going to go take a look at that. As usual, you're going to start out by opening up the zip file. And this one is going to have a whole bunch of stuff in it. So there are 8 different plugins to go with this. The reason they're all separate like this, it just lets you custom format each one individually, because some of these lists are going to be really small. You'll see when we get into it. Some of them are going to be very large, and you need to shrink everything down to make it fit on screen. But we're going to do the usual here. Open up your SDK. Find that plugin manager in the menu under the overlay section. Open up the menu. You're going to import those 8 RR things, and you'll notice they come in pairs. So there's 4 pairs. There's a roster and a standings for each one. Then you're going to kind of get this going, and I think all of them, no, that's not true. The teams one is the one that has the remote component embedded in it. So go to the RR team roster components tab, find that roster rivals remote, and click add. That is going to set you up with this purple box right here. There's 8 buttons and then an empty to kind of reset it. And so now we'll start running through it. So this, we'll start with the old one. This is the original, the team roster. Oh, now my HUD is acting up. This happened on the last video too. Let's refresh it, make sure everything's showing. There we go. And we might need to turn off those action alerts while we're doing this. There we go. All right, so this is the first of these 8 I'll show you. This is the same as the old Teams roster plugin. Whatever driver you have selected, it's going to bring up them and their teammates. So right now I have Highland Okoa selected and a fake team put in for collateral damage racing. And then you can put in the logos. So let's run through how you would set this up for a minute. So to set up teams and logos and things like that, you're going to set up the driver overrides and the team overrides. So you're going to start with multi-car teams and edit this. And this is where you would create a team. Collateral damage racing is the example I'm using. And then load in that team logo if you want it to be displayed. I've been using the localhost web server within SDK. That's my preferred way to do it. And you can see I've got a whole bunch of teams set up here for the leagues that I cover. Once you put that in, you go to your driver overrides, and then you can just select any of those teams under this multi-car team drop down. They'll all show up there. You can, you don't have to use logos, and you don't have to manually put in the team names assigned to drivers in the overrides. If they put it in their SDK driver info app, they will show up here. The problem I see with that is a lot of times people tend to misspell their team name or add an extra space compared to some of their teammates, and so they will not show up as the same team. They'll show up as 2 different teams, one with that extra space or extra hyphen or something like that. So this ensures that you control the teams and then get everyone matched up. So this is my preferred way to do it, and it lets you add in those logos. And then for each of these, there's a roster. So what the roster is going to do is just what we're looking at now. It's going to show you the team roster in this case based on the driver you have selected. So everyone else on that team will show up in the list. If you pick another driver, it will. I don't have any other teams set up with this this IMSA race I'm using as an example, but we could click through and it'll change. And if you click someone that's not on a team, it'll show everyone that's not on a team with the team name none. So that's not super helpful. But let's say we wanted to compare how all the teams are doing That's where this rivals side of the buttons and the standings side of the plugins come in. This is going to switch to, instead of just showing the team of the driver you're looking at, it's going to show all of the teams and their best running position, their average running position, their lowest, and how many drivers are on each team. And if you're in a NASCAR race, this is this is overall position. If you're in a multi-class race, this is class position. So it kind of works for both. And then each of these pairs works exactly the same. So let's go to car roster. Again, I'm following Hylon right now. He's driving that Mercedes GT3. So if I click on car roster, I'm going to see every driver driving that Mercedes GT3 and where they're running. And then if I switch over to the rivals, it's going to show me all of the cars and models and where they're running. And in this case, because it's classes and multi-class race, it's going to break it out into classes. So here you can see, hey, the Ferrari there's only one Ferrari driver in the GTP race and he's winning, even though he's the only one. That maybe, there's just something to talk about. Same in the IMSA. There are 9 Mercedes on track, and they have the top 3 positions, it looks like, because the next best is that Aston Martin in P4. Again, just a little bit extra in terms of rivalries between car makes and manufacturers. We've got the same thing for countries and clubs. So Highlands from Trinidad and Tobago. And if we pull up the rivals/standings version of this, you'll see there's only 3 countries represented here and how they're doing. Again, it's the same thing. You either look at the roster based on the driver you're watching, or you switch to the rivals standings to compare how all of them are doing. And we just covered teams. And then the last one is this class 2. So class set 1 is usually used for the car classes like the IMSA versus GTP, etc. But you can use the class set 2 to create pro versus amateur drivers, or maybe a dash for cash subset of drivers, or maybe a playoff drivers or people on the bubble, so that you can pull them up and compare how they're doing. Kind of the same thing. In this case, I only have one class created in that class set 2, which is this pretend dash for cash group. But you could kind of see where you could take this. You could do a lot of different things to highlight a different group of drivers. You could show everyone who's a veteran, who are all the rookies. Anything you could create in class set 2, you could pull up here. And so I hope you guys enjoy this. This has been a fun one. Like I said, I made it class friendly, especially with the cars. All of the positions shown in these are class position if you're in a multi-class race, or their overall position if you're not. So I hope you guys like that one. And we're going to get to work on the next plugin here at CDSN.